Hi, everyone. In this demonstration, we're going to go over how to create advisor models on the Envestnet platform. To do so, starting from our advisor portal, we can go to Manage, and then under Models, we can go to Advisor Models, and then to the right of the page, in our floating icon section, we want to locate the plus icon where we can create our model. And then next, we can select the appropriate program. So if we're using APM, we will select the APM model. And then next we can give our model a name. You can be as creative as you want in naming your model, but keep in mind that your client will also be able to see what you've named it. So don't be too creative and put something your client may not want to see on this statement. So getting down to the target risk rating is where we can pre-select how we want our model to be assessed as in terms of risk. So if we want to say this is a aggressive model, we can do so. And then next, use a sleeve. If we were to set this as yes, that means that this model will only be used as a sleeve. So if we're sleeving in different products and models, you can utilize maybe a smaller or even a larger APM model here to be used with other products. Think of StoneX US High Div account, StoneX US Growth account, and other FSPs. Think of the Tactical Growth and the StoneX Core series as well. For this example, we'll just leave it as no. Next, if we continue down to rep code, if we select share with all, that will allow us to share this APM model with all of our members within our branch. Now, they won't be able to make edits to this model. This is your template that they'll just simply be able to use. And then next, if we get down to the drift type, there's two drift types. So first, there's absolute drift. Absolute is exactly where you're thinking. It's a flat percentage that a position can deviate from its target allocation. So if you set a target allocation for Apple at 10% and then you set the absolute drift of 5%, that means that it can deviate between 5% and 15% before it's considered out of drift. And then relative means it's a relative percentage. So if you set the same target allocation of 10% and then a relative drift of 5%, it'll deviate between 7.5% to 12.5% before it's considered out of drift. So just keep those two options in mind as you are making your decision. There's no right or wrong. That's just strictly your preference. So, for example, I'll just set that as 10%. And then next, you can see the next step is to add your positions, but also take a look at the status here. It's active, it's pending activation. So once we input all of our positions, we want to save and activate our model. Remember to do that. Um, we see a lot of advisors once they get to the proposal stage, they can't find their model, they can create it. That's because it's not saved and activated. So here we can see our additional rows to input our positions. We can delete or add multiple rows. And then we can input our positions. We can utilize the search feature. So if we want to search for asset class, um, closed end funds, we can search by styles. So we can search by alternatives, equity, so forth. And when you do that, it'll bring up um, relevant matches for your search. Now we can also save draft. Well, first we need to input our draft target, but we can save draft. Let's say we want to import positions from a file. So if we want to add in additional positions that we've already um, made in Excel, we can convert that to CSV here. Here's the template that Envestnet has laid out. And you can also view a sample file as well. So you would put IBM, for example, the percentage, and then the allowable drift, and then select import. But notice when we save the draft, we can see that our draft assess risk is where we set our target for our model. So we started off as conservative because we didn't have anything listed. But if we go back to edit, we need to remember to do what? If we are satisfied with inputting all our positions here, we need to do what? We need to save and activate. So now you see, once we saved and activate, you see that it's no longer draft assess risk, it's current assess risk. And you no longer see pending activation at the top left as well. So this has been a quick overview of how to create your advisor model in Envestnet. The next thing that you would do here is what I mentioned earlier. You would go to the proposal process and then attach this model to your client proposal to open the account for your client.